Prabhupada. Ram Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Stotra Hata Sri Srimati Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Nila Madhav Ki Jai. Sri Sri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. Sri Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji Ki Jai. Sri Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai. Gauru Pramanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Nashtaprayesu abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Divinity and Divine Service, Text 17. Srunvatam sukathaha Krishnaha Punya Sravana Kirtanaha Rudyanto stho hi abhadrani Vidhunoti suhrut satam. Srunvatam sukatha Krishnaha Punya Sravana Kirtana Hrudyanto hi abhadrani Vidhunoti suhrut satam. Srunvatam sukatha Krishnaha Punya Sravana Kirtanaha Rudyantaha sthohi abhadrani Vidhu nauti suhrut satam. Srunvatam sakatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Rudyanto hi abhadrani Vidhunoti suhrut satam. Srunvatam sakatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtanaha Rudyanto hi abhadrani Vidhunoti suhrut satam. Anyone else? Okay. Srunvatam, those who have developed the urge to hear the message of Sokathaha, his own words, Krishnaha, the personality of Godhead, Punya, virtues, Sravana, hearing, Kirtanaha, chanting, Rudyantosthaha, within one's heart, he certainly abhadrani, desire to enjoy matter, vidhunoti, cleanses, suhrud, benefactor, satam, of the truthful. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Purport. Messages of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are non-different from him. Whenever, therefore, offenceless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound, which is as powerful as the Lord personally. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Sikhastakam declares clearly that the holy name of the Lord has all the potencies of the Lord, and that He has endowed His innumerable names with the same potency. There is no rigid fixture of time, and anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence at his convenience. The Lord is so kind to us that He can be present before us personally in the form of transcendental sound, but unfortunately we have no taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord's name and activities. We have already discussed developing a taste for hearing and chanting the holy sound. It is done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord. The Lord is reciprocally respondent to His devotees. When He sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord, and has thus become eager to hear about Him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to Him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into His kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all respects. One cannot enter into the kingdom of God unless one is perfectly cleared of all sins. The material sins are products of our desires to lord it over material nature. It is very difficult to get rid of such desires. Women and wealth are very difficult problem for the devotee making progress on the path back to Godhead. Many stalwarts in the devotional line fell victim to these allurements and thus retreated from the path of liberation. But when one is helped by the Lord Himself, the whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord. To become restless in the contact of women and wealth is not an astonishment, because every living being is associated with such things from remote time, practically immemorial, and it takes time to recover from this foreign nature. But if one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, gradually he realizes his real position. By the grace of the Lord, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbances, and gradually all disturbing elements are eliminated from his mind. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschat Desatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. It is nice to be in the presence of His Grace Hari Vilas Prabhu. He is an ocean of experience. Being Prabhupada's disciple, he has dedicated his life, and I am very fortunate to be here to see his partial, very little opulence. His opulence are manifold. And anybody who has taken shelter of Srila Prabhupada are very fortunate, very opulent, very enriching experience, all of them they have. And this Bhagavatam that we are reading is all commented by His Divine Grace in his ecstasy, when he was, in particularly Canto 1, when he was having reclusive shelter of Sri Holidham, Sri Vrindavan Dham. And hence this Canto 1 are very enriching, because with this canto only Prabhupada started his journey to this great land, America. And I am really fascinated to see yesterday so many Indian congregation here enjoying the fruit, and that fruit has been made possible to reach all the devotees here by the extraordinary dedication of the Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. And when let's start from the last point that Prabhupada writes here. By the grace of God, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbances, and gradually all disturbing elements are eliminated from his mind. And this is very central, because we are so disturbed in our mind that we do not have capacity to hear anything. Philosophical debate is the last thing that one can have. People in this particular age now are committing so much of sin. Just imagine this atmosphere all around, so many signals all around us. If you put a proper detector here, then you will have all those effects, right? So all the signals are here. You just have to have a detector. And they are crowding the thought of people. And these are all disturbances, because people do not know the purpose of life, and hence the message that they are broadcasting are disturbing to the mind. And still we continue to be hooked onto such platform. You see that this atmosphere here, hundreds of channels, their signals are all here, right? All kind of electromagnetic radiations is all crowding thought. So it's very difficult to be situated in mode of goodness when we are bombarded with information that are antithesis to our real nature. So mind is disturbed. When mind is disturbed, we cannot hear anything. And because mind is so disturbed nowadays, more and more people are becoming psychic peasants. And everywhere, including United Nations, one of the biggest fear is that we will have maximum mental peasants, or the biggest disease would be to that of mental peasants. So in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Krishna is teaching Uddhava about the ways of life, how to accept Krishna consciousness unto one's life, so he invokes the story of Avanti Brahman. Why he does that? He says, before he invokes the story of Avanti Brahman, he says that to approach Krishna, we must give up all sense of materialism. What is materialism? Materialism is not that knowing matter ontologically. Materialism means to enjoy separate from Krishna. That's materialism. Materialism is not rejecting matter. Matter is Krishna's energy. So to know matter means we will know Krishna. But thus we are not interested. We are mostly interested in making varieties of arrangements such that we can enjoy separate from Krishna. And Krishna is saying that must be completely given up. And in that connection, he gives the example of Avanti Brahmana. And Avanti Brahmana story is like this. He was actually a Brahman, but he entered into some business, he earned a lot of money but he was a miser. He would not spend a pie, nor he would allow his family members to spend a pie. But that's the nature that was given to him. So, being a Brahmin, he should have practiced the way of Krishna consciousness, how we become or we get back to our true nature, eternal nature. Whereas he entered into business, he earned, and by the arrangement of providence, neither he could enjoy it, nor he could allow anyone to enjoy. Not only that, in time his properties were stolen, and the government, tax raiding happened, and so many ways he lost almost everything. So as long as he had his wealth, his near and dear ones were thinking that when this fellow will die, we will enjoy. But before they could get it, he lost it. So now this very person whom they were trying to protect became an unworthy person. They forsake him. They mistreated him. And as a result, because of his Brahmanical qualification earned from previous birth and so forth, he could recognize that he has wasted his life. And a natural awakening happened, because in this life, although he earned wealth, he never did sense gratification. So there was not many pollution that was there within him. So naturally, the accrued piety that was there within him helped him to understand the real purpose of life. So he took sannyas and started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So although he took to the reclusive bhajan of Krishna, he was harassed. People will pee in his food plate. There are people who would spit on his head. There are people who would bind him against a tree and beat him. You can't experience more harassment than this on a personal level. So basically, it's a life of misery, absolute misery. And the way Avanti Brahmana dealt with that is very, very wonderful. He didn't see all that happened to him is happening to him. So how is that possible? Because in our literature, when we want to hear about Krishna Katha, there are two notions we must give up, aham and mameti. I and mine. So these two concepts that we have, I and mine, which is first? Which comes first? I comes first. Raghav? I comes. Prabhuji? I. Mataji? So you are confused whether I or mine. Good. I? Mine? Why do you say mine? Ah. So mine is first. What about you, little girl? Eh? Both? Yeah, the actual thing is mine. Our false identity of I-ness comes from mine. I am born in a specific family, and based on that my mine is coming. I-ness is coming. Right? I am given something. Suppose you become a businessman, and then you say, I am businessman. You become learned, the education is given to you. You become learned, then you say, I am learned. You see that? So you can say, logically, it's starting from Lord Buddha to Shankaracharya to Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all our acharyas, they have completely rejected the so-called mind, right? Nothing, we don't possess anything. So that's very simple to understand. But the I-ness that I built on this mind, what I say is mine, is even more illusory. Whatever is mine is already illusory, right? Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, in a subtle level it is not. You see that when you are born and brought up, what you knew? A small boy, baby, you see, you give a toffee to him, and the same toffee you take out, he starts crying. Before the toffee was given, he didn't have the toffee. You give the toffee, then he feels this mine. And he builds his identity based on that. Everything is given. You see that by birth you are given certain abilities. If it is not given, you cannot declare what is your I-ness. Even to show your ahankara, you have to have something, sub-ability. And that Krishna gives you by the law of karma to you. If that's not there, then, this. So, yes, there are, it's not black and white in a sense, but if you go in deep and depth, you will see that mine, if I can't connect myself with something illusory, my I-ness will not develop. That's, yes. Okay, let's not, you just think about it. You will see in a deep way is that our identity, the identity that I express to the society, it is based on mine, always. Just a little philosophical deliberation. Just think about it. And of course, the I-ness that I talk about or we talk about, which is the fundamental principle of false ego, that's attached to me. That's a completely different notion that I don't want to go in detail, because we do not know even earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, intelligence of false ego to understand that I. I am just talking the normal I and mine that we exhibit in the society. Right. So one is the elemental I, and the other is I and mine that we always associate with it. Okay. Okay. So why I talked about is this I and mine. As of now, we can put in the form of achintya veda aveda tattva. It's I and mine are same. Don't worry. But the point is, this mind that we talk about, or the Avanti Brahmana, he recognized that when this feeling comes within us that somebody is hurling insult to me, so if I recognize I am a soul, soul cannot be insulted. So what is my identity actually here? So he sees his identity as his mind. And it is mind that tells him that this is an insult. In a very beautiful way, in his discussion and in his argument, Avanti Brahmana brings out this point that mind is making me feel that I have been insulted, because I am spirit soul and I cannot be connected to anything that is not me. So anything that is happening, it is not because of karma or not because of external people. I am suffering. I am suffering because of my mind. It's mind that makes me think that I am this, I am that, I am a sannyasi, or all identification that I am having, that the identification of I and mine is coming from mind. And he said that, "Oh mind, I am not going to listen to you. All that is happening to me, you are the cause, and I am not going to listen. I am not going to listen to you." And he continued his devotional service. And Lord Krishna is giving this example to let us know that how mind is a very powerful obstacle in our devotional service. And same thing also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna told Arjuna, Abhyasana Vairagyana. Because when Arjuna said, Manaha Chanchalaha Krishna, that because he emphasized that mind must be controlled. And it's from mind our identity that we exhibit that comes or springs all. So the mind has to be controlled. How do we control? By practice and developing detachment. And this is very important because nowadays people are suffering so much. Their mind is so disturbed. They do not know how to attain peace, because when mind is so disturbed, you as an individual, you cannot even reach out to your soul. The soul I am, but I am completely ignorant because of the disturbed mind. I cannot associate with that, with all that having the nature of the soul. Because mind is so disturbed, it prevents me to get associated with anything that has same nature as of that of mine. And without association, how can I cultivate my own nature? The spiritual association. So before I can make any spiritual association, mind becomes a very one of the big, the only obstacle. In fact, in our devotional service, the only obstacle is the mind. It's mind that doesn't make us to chant Hare Krishna with attention. It is mind that doesn't allow us to pray to Krishna. It is mind that doesn't allow us to engage in Krishna conscious activities. So if you see that, mind is the only enemy that we have, nothing else. And how do we tame the mind? So, the answer is here. Shrunotam Sukatha Krishna. Somehow or other, we must continuously hear the topics of Krishna as narrated by Krishna. Sokatha. Not topics of Krishna being narrated by someone else. Topics of Krishna narrated by him. And this is why when Shukadeva Goswami started describing the Krishna's topic directly in the beginning of 10th canto, so there is this verse, Nibruta tarsai rupagiyamanat bhavau sadha srutra manobhiramat ko uttama sloka gunanuvadat puman virajyate vina pashuknat. This is, I think, 10.1.4. So 10th canto, 1st chapter and 4th verse. And Prabhupada has given a very elaborate purport to that, because this is very important. Before we start hearing about Krishna, it says Krishna topic must be narrated in a state that is devoid of all kind of material thirst. So when all kind of material thirst are annihilated, okay, Nibruta. Nibruta means there is nothing. Anabruta. Nibruta. Tarsair. Tarsair means trusna. Trusna means thirst. So thirst for any kind of material enjoyment. When we are freed from that. And such a narrator, when he speaks about Krishna, it's directly Krishna speaking. Like when Vyasadeva wrote all Vedic literature, it is not his writing. It's Krishna is writing through Vyasadeva. When a pure devotee speaks about Krishna, it is not he speaking, it is Krishna speaking. So that is why Sokatha Krishna. Krishna as he is speaking. That needs to be heard again and again. There is many examples of how Krishna speaks about himself in Chaitanya Lila. Mahaprabhu made Haridas Thakur to speak about holy name. And again, Haridas Thakur would say, "My dear Lord, I do not know the glory of the holy name, but you are making me to speak." In the same way, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks questions about the ultimate goal of life that is leading to the discussion, to the pristine glory of pristine glorious pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna, that's the narration between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raya Ramananda. There also, every time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks a question, and our Raya Ramananda would say, "My dear Lord, I do not know anything, I am the most ignorant, but you are making me to speak." So this is called Sokatha. Sokatha means when Krishna speaks directly. And how we spread the message of Krishna to others. That means when we become the pure instrument of Krishna and we sit, we observe ourselves in pure Krishna consciousness, and then Krishna uses us to speak about himself. And that is how the message of Krishna becomes very effective. So Srunotam Sokatha Krishna. About Krishna, the way he has spoken about him, we need to hear. And that if you connect this, Nibruta tarsai rupagiyamanat, when we narrate the message of Krishna in a pure state, then Krishna is speaking. That means when Sukadeva Goswami is speaking, it is not he is speaking, it is Krishna is speaking. When Narada, Srila Narada is speaking, it is not he is speaking, it is Krishna is speaking. And same thing, when Prabhupada was speaking, it is not he is speaking, it is Krishna is speaking. In one of the purport to one of the invocation mantra, in one of the chapters, I think 8th chapter or so, in first Adilila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, when he is compiling Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is again another thing, how Krishna speaks. Lord Govinda personally made Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to compile Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, before every chapter he starts, he has a specific prayer for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this he says that if you have mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then impossible you can make possible. That which is impossible, you can make possible. But if you don't have that mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then even that which is very easily possible becomes impossible. And there Prabhupada gives a nice purport to that verse. He says, he makes 3 references. He says that controlling senses, controlling mind is very difficult. And he gives example of the members of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. He says they are not very scholastic, they didn't have very erudite education and anything, but simply because they received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are able to practice self-control very easily. Getting up for Mangalarati, attending, chanting, only partaking in Krishna Prasadam, giving up all illicit activities, so easy for them. Just because they received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, he says that life comes from life, right? Like we are soul. Even people having PhD, DSc, they are not able to understand that we as an individual, we are divine being, we are part and parcel of Krishna, we are infinitesimal spiritual spark, we are eternally servant of Krishna. It's very difficult for them to understand. They are still looking at chemical origin of life, how material composition at some point of complexity attains the consciousness. Although this is one of the unsolved problems still in the modern science, but they cannot understand the simple thing that we are all eternal soul. We have many births and will continue many births further unless and until we develop a strong desire to go back to Godhead. So this is very important. And then last thing he says, third thing, he says, writing books about Krishna. He says that everybody cannot write. Only when one is empowered by Krishna, he writes. Right? So similarly, this point that Sokatha is very important, because we hear about Krishna from him directly. No via media. And Guru, when he presents us about Krishna, he doesn't obstruct the message of Krishna by any means. That means he is an absolute pure instrument in delivering the message of Krishna. So when the message comes directly from Krishna, and we become very fortunate to associate with that message, Sunnatam Sukatha Krishna. Punya Sravana Kirtana. And because this is directly coming from Krishna, and hence it becomes absolutely auspicious. And mind, which is very disturbing. Why it is disturbing? Because it is the storehouse of all sinful propensities. Because all that we have done in this world is a form of sinful action. And they are all imprinted in the mind. We must know that mind has been my eternal friend from time immemorial. Every time I give up my gross body, but the subtle mind is always with me. So all kind of samskaras that are there, kusamskaras, of course even susamskara, both are there in the mind depending on what kind of activities we have done. So here it says, Hrudyantasto hi avadrani. Here Hrudi refers to mind. In the mind, all these samskaras, all these sinful propensities, they are there. And they are burnt into ashes when we directly hear about Krishna Katha, about himself. Sokatha. So one should allow himself somehow by association of devotees, when this awakening happens to us, yes, now I do not want to hear mind. I want to hear directly what Krishna speaks. We speak about Krishna, but we don't hear. We want to hear what our mind wants to hear. And I was privy to one of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam discussion, where the discussion was going on, and then the Bhagavatkar, the person who was speaking Bhagavatam, at some point of time he made this statement that we should take Chavanpras. Right? In a context he said that we should take Chavanpras because he saw that many of the devotees, they are becoming sick, they are immune to certain cough, cold kind of things. He says, please take Chavanpras. That's just out of concern for the devotee's health, he spoke. But there is one audience there. After the program was over, he raised his hand and said, my dear Prabhuji, you spoke wonderfully. I have been taking Chavanpras from the very childhood and I am continuing. Today's class is the best. Right? So the point is that mind wants to hear what we want to hear. We do not hear Krishna Katha. The moment mind comes in the middle, we are not able to hear. And hence, the impurities in the mind are not getting burnt into ashes. It is not a very big rocket science to know that how mind can be controlled. Mind can be controlled when you ignore mind and very carefully listen. That means when we hear, if mind blocks what Krishna speaks, then soul is not getting association of the Krishna Katha. We must allow the soul to associate with Krishna Katha, and mind is the block, is the obstacle. It's not allowing us to hear it. And hence, we have to be very careful. Like Prabhupada is saying here, Kamini and Kanchana, these are the two things why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't associate with Pratap Dev, who was a king and he was a devotee. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't allow. Again and again he would say to Raya Ramananda, he would say to Maharaj Prataprudra, no, I cannot associate with the king because he's associating with Kamini and Kanchana. He's sitting in the den of Maya. I do not want to associate with him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is setting the highest standard that how, if we want to hear about Krishna Katha, we must remain away from anything that drives me for sense gratification. I must carefully check out the plan. So this is very important. Why we do not, and Prabhupada says in the purport that anybody who desires sincerely, we have in Gurukula one teacher, he was actually working in Navy, and after retirement from Navy he came and joined Gurukula. He had many options, because after you retire from Navy, you can be observed by many, because those who work in military, their training is very strong. Okay, so many companies and everyone, they can hire them because they have treasure of well-training skills. But he came and he lived in Vrindavan, so his family. I think maximum 2 months back, in our Gurukul land, we had some discussion. Some architect has come and we were discussing, because in our Gurukul land we grow our own wheat, rice, vegetables. We have Gaushala, we have milk, like Prabhuji is he is developing farm here. So similarly we are trying to develop a complete self-sufficient community. And this devotee, we called him, his wife was not all right, and we called him for the discussion, because he is in charge of our organic farming and Gaushala. And giving up his wife was sick, he came, we discussed, and then I told him that please go and attend to your wife. And he said, no, everything will be all right. And he said, because I am taking care of my wife, I have not chanted, let me chant. So he stayed in the land, he chanted, and I have gone to Kanpur where I am working, I am on my way. And suddenly I am getting a message that his wife has left the body in Vrindavan. First of all, I was really shocked, that I felt so bad that I engaged him in the service, and probably he should have taken care of his wife. But in the other way, you see that his wife left her body in Vrindavan at a very young age, almost hardly 40-year-old, and left the body in Vrindavan. She could have left body because she was staying actually in Agra in her in-laws' place, and because of the illness, she was brought temporarily to Vrindavan, and she left her body in Vrindavan. And here, just like Krishna says, anybody who wants to go back to Godhead, Krishna helps him or her in all possible ways, because Krishna desires that we go back to him more strongly than we can even imagine. And this is just a recent example that we meditated on this, that he always said that I want to serve devotees, his wife. And she has fed all Vaishnavas. She liked cooking, she will invite. In fact, I was planning that in our Gurukula, she would become, we will make her, in charge of cooking. But she left. So Krishna wants us to go back to him more dearly than we can even imagine. The only thing is missing is that we do not desire. And because we don't desire, and he becomes helpless. He can't take us by force. We must desire. And the desire will be there when we start hearing about Krishna. Like you see that when Krishna left Vrindavan, he was only 11-year old. Little more than that. He promised that he will come back to Vrindavan. But there are so many reasons are there why he didn't go to Vrindavan. One is Devaki and Vasudeva would never permit him to go. The other is Nanda Baba would never, he would like Krishna to come back, but he's seeing Jarasandha is attacking Krishna again and again. He attacked 17 times. And Nanda Baba, the moment he would think that he should bring Krishna for some days to Vrindavan, then he would think Jarasandha would attack. And he doesn't have an army to fight. Whereas Mathura, the King Grasan has a great army to fight. So he cannot protect Krishna. Right? I think we should stop here, right?
you break it. Okay? Don't ever do that again. We've broken too many. Start now.
Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gopuraranjana Kana Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gopuraranjana Kana Gopi Paranadana Malana Manohara Kaliya Damana Vidana Kaliya Damana Vidana Amala Harina Mamiya Virasha Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Para Vamsivadana Suvasa Brajajana Palana Surakulana Shana Brajajana Palana Surakulana Shana Nanda Godana Rakobala Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundarananda Gopala Yamuna Tata Chara Gopi Vasanahara Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya Srila Vallabha Vrindavana Natabara Bhakati Vinoda Shaya Yashomati Nandana Brajabarana Gara Okularanjana Kana Gopi Padana Dana Madana Manohara Gopi Padana Dana Madana Manohara Ramana Vidana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe. Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Lakshminarasimha Jaya Lakshminarasimha Jaya Lakshminarasimha Jaya Lakshminarasimha. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nita Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nita Gora Hari Bol.
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रीला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री श्री पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की जय। श्री श्री वाशिंगटन सियाटल श्री श्री राधा नीलमाधव धाम की जय। श्री श्री राधा नीलमाधव की जय। श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। गंगा मई की जय। यमुना मई की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तने की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की गौर प्रेमानंद। All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. So we will continue the discussion that we were doing in the evening. Yes, please. Yeah.